record?
Recording.
All right, cool. I'll record too then.
Perfect.
All right, sweet. So we're rolling now.
All right.
All right. So what do you want to talk about first?
Well,
You want to start with the D2L one?
did you guys read that one?
No.
No.
I haven't gotten that far yet. I've read the book so far because I've been doing my reflection like all day basically.
Mm-hmm.
So I've read a few of them in the book.
Okay. Yeah, this was an interesting section, I thought.
Yeah, that's what me and Greg were just saying before you got on here, that it was like, this is good because all the other stuff was more like ethics and kind of history stuff that, I mean, it matters, but not as much as like this real life right now stuff.
Exactly.
You know? So
yeah.
All right. So which one did you guys read?
What was the first one? The Crisis of Agriculture?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so from that I just got like that our agricultural practices are pretty wasteful. Like you're saying that like they waste so much like topsoil and water and just energy in general.
Right.
And that like people are unknowingly participating in that waste by like buying a ton of processed and packaged foods and like just throwing away their trash when that can be used for fertilizer, compost, or things like that.
That's kind of what I got too. I got a lot that it was kind of consumers should also be a producer, like you kind of replace what you take.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty much.
It's crazy. Like I've taken a few other environmental classes too, and so like reading this stuff, I've gone over a lot of this stuff before, but like with what you're saying with the wastefulness, with all the, like they're wasting so much water doing this too, because to produce a lot of the stuff, which it obviously takes energy, but it obviously takes a lot of water. So to produce anything, it's basically stuff. I mean, yeah, we need meat and everything like that, but like it's not as necessary as we're making it, you know?
I thought about that stuff sometimes too, like how like the Colorado River is being like they're taking water from that river for California, and then that's kind of the system around it because the Colorado River has less water now, and then
it's you don't realize how much waste there is in the world, like from all this stuff, until you actually sit down and read it all, and it's
look into it.
Shocking. Or even talking about waste. I worked at a restaurant before.
I was just gonna say the same thing.
Yeah, me too.
A lot of their food they just throw out.
Like perfectly fine food.
Perfectly good. It blows my mind, and that would bother me all the time because like I was, in the environmental stuff, and I would just know, and it would just like kill me in the back of my head. I'm like, you don't need to throw this all away. Like, there's nothing I can do as a hostess.
No, I'm with you on that one. I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's frustrating.
Yeah. Well,
so that was that one, I guess.
Yeah. Did you guys read the Eating Animals?
Yeah, with all the statistics.
Right.
188.
Yeah, it was short, but
it was like good, like hard facts.
Right. Yeah, I put that one in my reflection.
I think I do too.
Yeah, and it had a few good points that, and I thought I kind of like came to my conclusion in my reflection on basically, like obviously it's hard to be a vegetarian, but it just helps your overall health, human health, and it helps the environment so much, just not even consuming meat, which is insane. So
what did it say? Oh, it says that omnivores contribute 7 times.
Yeah.
So
7 times.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Greenhouse gases that vegans do. Like that's just mind blowing to me. And that's even for like, because there was another reading that talked about like, is it even really ethical to switch to like basically organic stuff or farms and stuff like that? And that even just eating meat from small farms or local
Mhm.
places or something like that is still a huge contributor to CO2.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, I think so. I'm a vegan myself.
oh, you are?
Yeah, it was interesting reading this. But I think people
I
think like eating meat is like such a big thing in our culture. I think
mhm,
people can't imagine not eating it,
right,
but it's really not as difficult as you would think. And there's so
right.
many different alternatives now.
Mhm.
I
Yeah,
think
I kind of talked about that in my paper too.
Hmm.
I want to become vegan so bad, but I just like haven't sat down and like figured out exactly how I could do it. Because I know some people, at least obviously, there's like specific ways to do it, and I feel like some people who don't
Hmm.
know all the stuff to go through it aren't getting like enough nutrients or enough
Yeah,
vitamins.
you definitely have to be educated to make sure
Right.
that you are getting the nutrients you need. But you just get used to it now.
I want to like take a class on it,
That'd,
so I
that'd
like
be
know
cool.
exactly what's happening. You
Same.
know.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
But,
What else?
yeah. So that one was pretty short. I feel like
Yeah.
yeah, I
it's
kind of
basically just statistics. Did you guys read The Omnivore's Delusion against the Agra intellectuals?
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I read all the text ones except the last one.
Okay. What was the last one again? It was that was
Meat.
Meat Morality, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Or was it not?
Yeah,
I
like
read
the
that.
alternatives.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So okay. Well, you guys want to talk about the one I just said?
189 through 190.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
That one I wasn't 100% sure on, to be honest.
I got that it's I talk a lot about like the differences between traditional farming and like more modern farming and how we kind of strayed from traditional ways from
Okay.
using like, animals and stuff to plow our fields to using like really big trucks and stuff, and that kind of like affects the habitat in different ways, obviously.
Right.
And then it's kind of how to farm more efficiently. And then there's like they mentioned erosion on there, like how if they use a new technology, they use like a herbicide and like a cover crop or something, and then that reduces erosion. And then it talked some about the Mississippi River. I think that's what the farmer was.
Hmm.
That was about it.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, and the Missouri River. It said
Yeah.
right here. Yeah.
The Missouri, yeah.
Yeah, we have to farm industrial. Yeah. I rented a book and there's a bunch of like notes and in it.
Oh, really? That's nice.
Yeah. That's kind of cool, I guess. But all right.
Next.
The ethics of
Ethics.
what I read this one. And I thought that was pretty interesting. That's what I was kind of saying earlier, where I was talking about smaller farms compared to the bigger farms and stuff, where a lot of people think where, you know, if you're going like organic or free ranged or anything like that, like, yeah, it's good ethically for that reason. But then there's the ethics of the environmental aspect with all the energy and stuff like that and transportation and all of that.
Yeah. That's not something I feel like people don't think about, the transportation of food.
Never. Yeah.
It
I know.
says
And then
air freight uses 2 times the energy to like deliver stuff than ground transport.
Yeah, that's wild. And it's just constant. It's always happening.
Right. It blows my mind. Like, yes, a lot of people, or even I thought, you know, like that's the better way to go and everything like that. But then there's all these other factors that go into that and stuff. And like, what is the right answer to it? I'm like,
No, I feel like there's
what
not.
can you do?
Yeah.
You know, if you do one thing, you're doing something else wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
This thing, you're doing something else wrong. It's like, I don't know how to make it all right.
I know.
Right, because there's just so many viewpoints to like how to do things right. Everybody has like their different idea. And then once you've, you know, been shared, like someone shared that like those ideas, so you don't know like which one's right because all of them sound pretty good.
Yeah,
I know.
exactly.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that was it for that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see here. Eating meat and eating people. This one I thought was really interesting.
I thought this one was weird as hell.
It's weird. Yeah, it was super weird.
It was.
Because in a way, this is because I've taken like a lot of philosophy classes, and sometimes we talk about some like really weird stuff because I don't know, it's things that people don't think about really, and sometimes you have to think about it. And like in a way, like I get it all. And then in some situations, like let's say you're stranded somewhere and you're gonna die, and if you don't like eat your friend,
right,
you're gonna die. So, which like that's perfectly good meat. It's really weird to think about, but
that is really weird.
Yeah, that is weird to think about. Like it's not something I've ever thought about.
But if you don't do it, you die. So
right.
like, there's 2 dead bodies or there's 1. So wasn't there like a plane crash? It was somewhere, and the survivors who survived the plane crash, they ate the people who didn't survive on the
Really? That's crazy.
Yeah, which it was fresh meat because they just died, but it's so weird to even think about, even like talking about it, because it's just like so way out there. But
eating anybody, but you never know. Honestly, you never know what happens.
Yeah, if you're in a situation like that, you don't know how you're gonna act.
Yeah, you don't know
how you're gonna be desperate. Yeah.
Right.
You have to do what you have to do to survive.
Right. That's so crazy. And I kind of talked about that in my reflection because I did that in my comparative reflection. And it talked about too how like why is it right to eat a cow, or some countries eat dogs, you know, where we cherish them here, and then why is it ethical or not ethical to eat a human that was just like killed in a car crash or something? If someone actually needed it, you know, why couldn't they eat it? Which, yeah, again, that's really weird. But it kind of in a way brings up a good point, and then it talks about, because if 2 living things have a lot of similarities, like, you know, I don't know, like having feelings or anything like that, or being treated bad or anything, it's just, and then the question is like, why is it ethical to eat that fresh meat and not this fresh meat? And then I kind of talked about how like vegetarianism, because this was written by a vegetarian, is kind of like a solution to all of it because it's ethical and helps the environment.
Really? I didn't know it was written by that. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, it said that I write this as a vegetarian.
Okay.
Then he goes on about. So.
Yeah.
This one I thought like, it's super weird, but it was interesting to think
cool.
about. So, yeah. All right. Well, I want to go on to the next one. Did you guys read Meat Morality?
I did not know.
Yeah, so this one was just more so like what alternatives there could be to eating so much meat. So it was like vegetarianism, more like humane farms or humane animal farming. And also,
how do you make animal farming like humane? Like,
I know.
How much like better of a life could you give them though? Like,
I think it's more like
I understand like giving more space and stuff like in their like pens or whatever, but like what else, like how much farther can you go from there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of places aren't like that. Like it's pretty awful.
Yeah, I watched a video on Tyson chicken before, and I will tell you, I will never eat Tyson chicken.
Yeah.
Really bad.
However, what they do to those chicken, well, first of all, they're stuck in these tiny little cages where they can't even move at all.
Yeah, and they're just
they're just like force fed, and they give them steroids and stuff, and these chickens get so big that their legs can't support them, and then their legs break.
Mm-hmm.
because they're so fat. And then that meat too isn't even good for you because it just has so much fat in it and then steroids that it's not even like efficient protein at all.
Yeah,
So,
the article also talked about slaughterhouse workers and how they have a lot of emotional issues from doing what they do.
Yeah. If I saw that, I'm like a huge animal lover. Like I can't even kill bugs. And it would kill me. I could not do that. There's no way.
I'm a hunter and like I like to fish and stuff like that myself, but like it's definitely different when you see like when you're going out hunting and then you come up to like something else. Like I like animals a lot myself, but it's like honestly it's just the way you look at it.
Right. And I'm totally for like hunting and stuff if you're using the meat, which most hunters do.
Right.
You know, that's totally fine, you know, or because we have so many deer, it's not like you're really hurting anything, you know.
Yeah, it's subsistence. It's like I guess you call hunting like subsistence farming and then commercial, you know.
Right.
The commercial would be like rice and chicken and then you know.
Right. Yeah, like I said, I'm all for it. I just don't think I personally could kill something because I'd probably cry.
Right. Yeah.
But so but then like the huge factories and everything they're providing these, it's just so inhumane. I watched one about cows too, and I'm around a lot of cows. We have 6 horses here, and we do like stuff with cows and stuff. Like that's what we show with. And that video killed me because I like cows. I think they're cute and everything. So it's just like, you know, they're in these tiny confined areas and just pumped all this corn and everything like that too, which actually it clogs like their insides eating all the corn because they're not even supposed to eat that. But feeding them the corn makes their meat taste like sweeter or better and kind of like fattier, which America likes, and then they sell it for cheap because corn's so cheap.
Right.
And so that meat isn't even good for you at all. And it's just this huge circle of just bad, really. But it makes them grow faster and then they're heavier and then you can get more meat. And so
I mean, it's just a business, honestly, farming and stuff like that. So same thing with college. I think college is just a fucking business.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest. That's they're trying to make money.
Right. No, really. That's why books. Why are books so much?
Like they're so expensive. I don't understand.
Right. You know, my mom was a college professor, and she told me that when they would, because you know, a lot of classes require that you get a new book each semester, when it's not even necessary because most of the information is the same in each book. They just make a new version of it like every year, so then they can make more money on it. So then my mom would like to say, you know, you can get the older version or whatever, like you don't need it. But then a lot of the time the faculty members like above her, like people who are I don't know, in charge, would say that, you know, she herself is required to tell them to get the new book, when literally the 2 different books had the same exact text in it. They were just on different pages.
Really?
Yeah. That's ridiculous. So she's always like, it's such a huge scam and everything like that. So
money.
But I mean, is that all you got for that section?
It also talked about the communities that surround these factories and how it's so polluted and they're more susceptible to diseases. That's just not a healthy environment.
Right, because of all the like cows, for instance, you know, they're obviously like going to the bathroom and stuff, and that's
and like where's all that going? Yeah, exactly.
Right. Where's that going? And then the emissions from even them just like burping is like insane. It
a lot of greenhouse gas,
Right. It leads to so much, and then all the runoff from that's going into the rivers or just seeping into the ground, and then that's like going up into the atmosphere, which isn't good for people to breathe in. And then just overall, it's just crazy how much bad can happen from all of this.
Yep.
So,
Um,
you know what I saw, which I talked about in my reflection a little bit, because I was talking about alternatives to meat and everything. And I saw something online somewhere that in some factory they're producing like a meatless burger, but this protein is like constructed in a lab. So it's not even made from like plants or anything. I'm not even sure exactly what it's made out of. But which seems kind of scary. Like, who would want to eat that, really?
I'd rather eat like a real thing than some chemicals that was produced, you know, like I don't know.
Right.
yeah, they actually talked about that in this article.
Mm-hmm.
It's called in vitro meat,
Yeah, that's what it
which
is.
sounds pretty gross. And it's, yeah, it says it comes from a single stem cell.
Yeah.
In vitro meat?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's it right here.
It says, so far, a pig muscle cell has been cultured into a very thin bologna slice.
See, but the problem with that is that in order to get stem cells, you have to get it out of a fetus.
Right.
Yeah, that's another
So you're killing
big
something.
ethical issue, right?
Is it really like, is it morally correct to do it that way, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just crazy how there's so many different like angles you can come from.
Yeah, oh yeah. Lots of different layers.
Yeah. What do you eat for a lot of protein, Hannah? Like for
I eat a lot of beans,
uh-huh.
and I try not to do tofu just because it's pretty high in estrogen, but I'll do like tempeh. But I
Okay.
eat more than enough. Like I usually track it, and I have plenty of protein.
Well, that's cool. Do you ever like eat jackfruit?
Yeah. It has to be
Yeah.
properly, but yeah,
Ah,
because otherwise it tastes nasty. But it's good.
yeah. Where'd you get it?
You get it like Meyer,
Really? I just have
Trader Joe's, or yeah. So I mean, I usually buy it that's already like pulled apart because it's like a huge fruit and it's super difficult to break down.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you can buy it canned or like already prepared. But I think that's a big misconception too, is that you need so much protein in your diet and that you're not going to get enough if you're not eating meat. But that's not really the case.
Right. Yeah, I know. I've always thought that too. There's a lot of different ways to eat or to get your protein, or even just to get like a plant-based protein like powder. You know?
Exactly.
That can help a lot. So
Yeah.
all right.
Is that it?
That is for. Wait, did we already check about D2L?
What's up?
I don't think any of us read it.
Oh, well, we could look at it real quick and maybe.
Do what?
Oops, I did not want that. Hannah, have you looked into writing your short paper? Like, do you know what you're gonna write it about?
I think I'm going to do it on the oh my gosh, I can't even say it. Like human-centered values. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one to write about.
That's what you're going to write about?
No, that's a good one too.
Yeah. What are you guys doing?
Yeah, I thought about doing something like that too. Honestly, I haven't like put like a topic yet, but I have a few to like kind of think about. I wish that was one of them, or even just like some of this stuff I thought was pretty interesting.
So it sounds kind of like, after reading his instructions, that it's pretty much like the reading reflection, but just more.
Mm-hmm. That's what I was.
Right?
Yeah, I got out of it.
I mean, I think I'm gonna do. When I was in my FW 101 class, we spent a lot of time talking about CWD, which is like chronic wasting disease, which is like it's a disease that a deer, like a white-tailed deer, gets, and then it just like starts to rot away. So I might try to do that.
That's a good idea.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, that's big right now.
But like, what would I compare it to though? Like, would I compare it to like agricultural changes or climate change or what?
Honestly, you could do like both, because I'm sure both are contributing to it, and then that would give you more like stuff to write about too.
Yeah.
Just try to like put in as many points as you can too, because then
Right, try to
after
connect it
we-
as much as you can.
right, yeah, because then so writing the short paper, then that's going to be, then once our final comes, we're writing in addition to that, so then you could elaborate on that too.
That's cool. Good
Yeah.
idea. How long is the final paper supposed to be? Like, what, 1,000 words or something?
I think it was like
I think it's
2,000.
1,500 or something.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't even know. I know this one is 750 to 1,000,
Right.
and then so I'm guessing, I'm pretty
Just
sure
like what,
the final's like 1,500 or somewhere in between that. So then if you're, with the short paper, you basically already have it halfway done. So it's like you have to write in addition to that. So
Makes
yeah,
sense.
I would probably pick a topic that you can really talk about, something that you're really interested in.
Mm-hmm.
So
I think you said the final paper is supposed to be a bit different from the short paper. Didn't you?
oh, is it? I might be
Maybe not.
confusing this with my other class. But okay, so basically the D2L is about Native Americans and how they did things.
Okay.
Like
What?
in
and like how they just lived off the
in
land.
food, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, the D2L text for agriculture?
Right.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just kind of skimming over it. And it's just saying basically how they lived off the environment. And well, I know with I just know, not from reading this, that Native Americans used, like if they killed a buffalo or something, they made it so they used every single part of
Right, no waste.
that buffalo. So like nothing was wasted, even their hooves, or like they'd use it for something,
Mm-hmm. Which is, I feel like we're straying a lot from that. We're kind of just taking what
right,
and then leaving the rest of the stuff we don't want,
right.
Kind of unfortunate, but
Yeah, that's the thing. I'm okay with animals, being used as food and stuff, as long as everything is used, because then nothing's wasted. It's not like you wasted that life,
Right.
because it's sustaining something else.
right.
I've
That's the big part.
I've seen, because like I said, I live like in the woods, and so there's a lot of hunting that goes around here because there's a lot of deer. And I've seen, like, even on our road that there was a dead deer, but just the backstrap was gone. Like someone just
Right.
left it.
They
Oh,
came by,
really?
cut out the best piece, and then just left.
That's awful to me.
I've seen it happen all the time,
Yeah, it just makes me sick.
yeah. It does suck.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's basically what this is about. So yeah.
Cool.
Well,
Call it a night.
yeah, it's. See, we started at like 8. Was it like 8:20?
20, yeah. So I think we should be.
Yeah.
So am I just emailing this to him because it doesn't work on D2L, right?
You.
Yeah.
Or
Since it's this one, we need to hold up. So since it's this long, we need to like upload it to YouTube. But make sure when you upload it, it's public.
Right. Yeah.
And then
Okay.
when you upload it, just send the link, and then it'll be all done.
Okay.
Because I think because I know I recorded something that was like longer than 30 minutes, and then the file was just too big to put into the email. So.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
that's
Okay.
the problem I had when the first one that we had, I did it on my phone, which was an awful
Right.
idea, because then I couldn't get it on my laptop and put it on anything, and it was just too big to do anything on my phone.
Right.
So don't do that.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll figure it out then.
Sounds good.
All right, just let us know,
Okay,
and then we'll be good.
All right. We'll meet up next week then.
Sounds good. See you guys later.
All right. See you
All right,
guys.
good luck with your papers.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah.
You too.
You too.
All
Thanks.
right, bye.
Bye.